Welcome back to Real Estate Talk with Tisha. I am honored to have my good friend, colleague, and licensed insurance agent, Ramona Smart, join me today for a little bit of real estate talk.
Just a little bit.
So Mona is the broker owner of Smart Insurance Agency, which is an independent affiliate of Farmers Insurance, right?
Correct.
Okay. So Mona is versed in all manner of insurance, whether it be business, auto, life, health. But what I've asked her to do is join us today for a series of videos on homeowners insurance.
Yep.
Okay, so first we're going to enlighten our viewers about, one, in this video, we're going to talk about what a home buyer needs to know about homeowners insurance and when it's needed. Two, what responsibilities that home buyer is going to have past the closing of their home purchase. And three, when a home owner is going to need to make a claim or maybe not make a claim, and how that's going to affect their insurability or how that can affect their future home sale. So thank you, Mona, for being our very first guest here on Real Estate Talk with Tisha. And let's get started and tell folks what home buyers need to know about homeowners insurance. Okay. So homeowners insurance is important to a home buyer because...
Well, essentially, they are buying the biggest asset that they will probably purchase, and they want to make sure that they have coverage for that. God forbid the house burned down after they purchased the home, and they would absolutely want an insurance company to rebuild that. The insurance covers them for the perils of fire, wind, hail, theft, as well as limited water and some liability.
Okay, and some liability. So we talked about that. So if somebody does a slip and fall or drowns in your pool, is the homeowner insurance, does that cover that?
Yes. So, well, most policies do cover that if you have liability coverage. So if you have a pool, I strongly recommend that you have at least $1 million worth of liability coverage because God forbid you invite people to your home and the worst happens and you don't have coverage. You want to make sure that if they sue you, which they will most likely, that you have the insurance. Yes, absolutely. The insurance company will have your back in that they will fight for you with their lawyers as well as help you pay the settlement through that $1 million.
All right. So speaking of California, we're here and there are earthquakes here.
Yes.
So is that a component of your homeowner's insurance? Is that a loss that's covered?
No. So earthquake is a separate policy as well as flood insurance. And I strongly recommend that you do have earthquake insurance simply because, one, we do live in California, and the fact that we haven't had one in a while means we're most likely going to have one sometime soon. And so I think that's really important. As far as flood insurance is concerned, you would find out if you are in a high flood zone and the lender would require you to have flood insurance at that point. Other than that, it's something that's at your discretion.
Speaking of which, what if you don't have a lender?
So if it's a cash purchase, then you want to take the responsibility and you are more likely to really, really need coverage because if you have a lender, they are essentially carrying the actual asset until you pay off that loan. But if you buy cash, now that is your asset and you have a lot to lose in that. So you want to make sure
you've got more at stake.
Absolutely.
Stakes are a little bit higher, even though nobody's requiring you to do it.
Exactly.
All right, so let's just briefly explain what this process is about. By the time I'm usually calling you, it's at the cusp of closing, and we are scrambling around to do everything to get a real estate deal closed, and home insurance, for whatever reason, is the last thing we tend to think about. And so I'm making that call to you. I need to close quickly. What is it that you do after that call is made? Either from me or from the home buyer.
Yeah, absolutely. So I do my due diligence and I inspect the property and I do a quote based on the actual cost to rebuild the home. Whereas if you purchase a home for $1 million and you see that you get a quote for $700,000 worth of dwelling coverage, that is not shortchanging you. That is actually only covering you for the structure, which is labor and materials to rebuild that actual structure. The land has its own value as well as the market value. We don't insure that.
Those are all three different numbers, but you're insuring the number to rebuild the home. Rebuild the home, just like the home that you purchased.
Yep. And so once we kind of assess that, we then send over a quote, and that the lender does their numbers with that. At that point, the escrow company calls and says, "Hey, we're getting ready to close. Send
And
me
what do they need?
over the binder, the evidence of
Okay.
insurance." And once you're at the closing table, you've brought the money to pay for the policy for the full year.
Okay. So
And
do you have an option at the closing table to pay monthly?
no, because the first year is always paid at closing.
Okay. So
And
that's part of
then
the closing cost
exactly.
for the purchase.
Yep.
And then
If it's
monthly.
impounded.
Oh, okay.
So if it's impounded, then you take that payment is made in your mortgage payment every single month. And then when it comes up for renewal, that money's sitting there and then they pay the policy again.
All right, fantastic. So as you can see, Miss Ramona Smart knows her stuff, and because of that, I'm going to ask her to stick around and join us for our second session in this series, where we're going to talk about the homeowner's responsibilities after the close of escrow and how that might affect their insurance coverage. So thanks for joining us, and thank you for watching Real Estate Talk with Tisha. And if you have any other questions and you want to go a little bit deeper into these insurance issues, you can reach Mona at
www.smart-insuranceagency.com.